Hello students, welcome to the course on Animal Diversity 1 Biology of Non-Chordates, Unit 3. The instructor for Unit 3 is Dr. E. Harini, Head Department of Zoology, St. Joseph's College for Women Autonomous, Visakhapatnam. Let's learn the parasitic adaptations of flatworms. The contents in this lesson are learning outcomes, introduction, the parasitic adaptations, which includes the morphological adaptations and the physiological adaptations. The learning outcomes. By the end of this lesson, students will be able to identify the major groups of helminths, the cestodes, trematodes, and their parasitic adaptations. Explain how morphological adaptations like hooks, suckers, the tegument modifications aid in attachment and nutrient absorption. Describe the behavioral and reproductive strategies like high fecundity and complex lifestyles that enhance the parasitic mode of life, and illustrate examples of host-parasite interactions and explain how helminths evade host immune responses. The parasitic adaptations of flatworms. Let's learn about the parasitic adaptations. Let's first learn the definition of adaptation. What is adaptation? Adaptation is the fitness or adjustment of an organism to its environment. The survival of a parasite in the body of the host depends upon its ability to adapt to the surrounding environment at the site of its infection, which is called as microenvironment. So this adaptation results in certain convenient morphological and functional correlations between the organism and its environment. And moving on with the parasitic adaptations, as the parasitic helminths live in a very specialized environment, they undergo various modifications to live successfully in the host. And these modifications are called parasitic adaptations, and they are classified into two types, the morphological adaptations and the physiological. So let's learn what are the different morphological adaptations. The first one is the body covering. The body is covered by a thick tegument, and this is frequently provided with scales afford suitable protection to the parasite. And this thick protoplasmic layer is continuously renewed by the mesenchymal cells forming it. And this body covering offers suitable protection to the parasite in whatever environment it lives. The second one are the organs of adhesion. For attachment to the host intestine or in the host tissues or in the host body, some special organs of adhesion like the hooks, the suckers and the spines are necessary. In Fasciola hepatica, there are two suckers, an anterior sucker surrounding the mouth and a large ventral sucker of the acetabulum. In Taenia solium, there are four suckers on the scolex, and the anterior end of the body of cestodes and trematodes bear hooks and spines as organs of attachment, which is a very important morphological adaptation. So here we can see the organs of adhesion. In the case of Taenia solium, this is the scolex, and on the scolex you can see the central part which is called as the rostellum, and this rostellum is having two rows of hooks which are chitinous in nature, and these hooks are around 22 to 32 in number, and there are four suckers which are present. So all these are the organs of adhesion. So moving on with the next morphological adaptation, that is the organs of locomotion. Locomotion is actually an effort for procuring food, but since parasites inhabit places in the host body where sufficient food is already available without much effort, therefore, the organs of locomotion are absent in the parasitic forms. But whereas in the free-living turbularians, organs of locomotion such as cilia are found. In the parasitic forms, the locomotory organs are found in their larval forms. Example, the Mericidium possesses cilia and the Cercaria possesses a tail for locomotion. So since the parasite reside in the host body where sufficient food is readily available, there is no need to move. Hence, the locomotory organs are completely lost. The next one, the organs of nutrition. Parasites derive nutrition from the readily available digested and semi-digested food of the host. Therefore, elaborate organs for nutrition are not needed. The trematodes have an incomplete gut, and in most cases, a suctorial pharynx for sucking food is present. In cestodes, the parasite freely bathes in the digestive system, which is surrounded by digestive food of the host, which is absorbed directly. So here you can see the locomotory organs. The locomotory organs which are found in the meriscedium and cercaria. Both meriscedium and cercaria are the larval stages of fasciola hepatica. So here in the meriscedium you can see that in the meriscedium there are cilia all over the body and cercaria is having a tail. So because these larval forms are free living, they are provided with locomotory organs, but whereas in the adult fasciola, since it is a parasitic forms, it is devoid of any locomotory organs. The next morphological adaptation is the neurosensory system. As an adaptation to the parasitic mode of life, there is profound reduction of the nervous system and total absence of sense organs. The free-living meriscedium larva possesses eye spots, but whereas in the parasites, the sense organs are totally absent. Moving on to the reproductive system. The reproductive system is highly developed in the helminth parasites, which is an adaptation to their parasitic mode of life. And the parasitic flatworms, except for cystosoma, are monoecious. Hermaphroditism is of very distinct advantage to the parasite because it ensures copulation even when few individuals are present, and after copulation both the individuals lays eggs, thus doubling the rate of reproduction. And in cestodes, the reproductive system is much more elaborate, where each mature proglotid possesses one, as in the case of Taenia solium, or two, as in the case of Diphyllidium, one or two complete sets of male and female genitalia. In a gravid proglotid, all the other organs of the system degenerate to make room for the uterus, which becomes highly enlarged and branched to accommodate large number of eggs. So moving on with the physiological adaptations. We have just finished the morphological adaptations in the previous slide. And in the physiological adaptations, the first one is the protective mechanism. In order to protect themselves from the harmful effects of the digestive juices of the host, the tapeworms secrete anti-enzymes to neutralize the digestive enzymes of the host. They also stimulate the walls of the host gut to secrete mucus, which forms a protective clothing around the parasite. They also continuously renew their protective body covering, that is the tegument, which is a protective mechanism. Now moving on with the anaerobic respiration, which is also physiological adaptation. The endoparasitic helminths living inside the gut lumen and bile ducts are devoid of free oxygen. Therefore, the flatworms which are inhabiting these places therefore respire anaerobically by breaking down glycogen, and at the same time they possess very low metabolic rate which requires very little amount of oxygen. The next physiological adaptation, osmoregulation. The osmotic pressure of the endoparasite's body fluids, especially in the case of trematodes, is almost same as that of the host. Therefore, this renders osmoregulation unnecessary. But in the intestinal tapeworm, the osmotic pressure is a little higher. Therefore, this permits the ready absorption of the host digested food by the parasite. The next one is the high fertility rate. Eggs produced by the parasitic flatworms face a very uncertain future. So while passing through the complex life cycle, these potential offsprings face several hazards, as a result of which a very small percentage of the total egg produced reaches adulthood. This threat to the very existence of the species is suitably met by the parasite, which in its lifetime may produce millions of eggs. And the reproductive organs of the flatworms, as we have already studied, are modified accordingly. Additional multiplicative phases in the life cycle of some flatworms further increases the output of the potential offspring. So several cercaria develop from a single meriscedium of liver fluke, and a single hexacanth of echinococcus produces several scolices, each of which can become a potential tapeworm. So let's summarize what we have learned in the parasitic adaptations of flatworms. The flatworms, the cestodes and the trematodes, they exhibit a wide range of parasitic adaptations that enable them to survive and thrive within their host bodies. Structurally, they possess specialized organs such as hooks, suckers, and modified teguments that facilitate attachment and protect them from the host defenses. Physiologically, they have reduced or absent digestive systems, relying instead on absorbing nutrients directly from the host. The reproductive strategies are highly advanced with enormous egg production and complex life cycles involving multiple hosts to ensure transmission. Additionally, they employ mechanisms to evade or suppress the host immune responses, allowing long-term survival. Collectively, these adaptations highlight their evolutionary success as parasites and explain their significant impact on human and animal health. These are the references cited for the topic discussed. Thank you for your patient listening.